Halloween.
What is
Halloween
is what?
Halloween.
That was
Hey,
so
cutie,
good.
welcome to Raisins. I'm the goddess of empathy. And today, we'd like to talk to you about possibly Star Trek's best Halloween episode, Empok Nor. But before we get into that, let's go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Dustin from Best of Trek.
I am Scott from Opinions No One Cares About, the hero of Setlick 3.
Robbie Sherman of Conversations with Robbie Sherman. Big stuff coming up on the show. Please tune in.
I'm Ren from Ren Rants.
I'm Death Grace.
Wow. You have put my mind to shame, sir. And hello, Norman. Norman is also with us.
Norman!
I wish I had known I could have come as a very short Riker and brought a pie as well.
So, it seems like the game of Kotra, the Cardassian game, it looks like it's somewhere between chess and Risk. Who would win if Garrick and O'Brien plays chess Risk?
Trisk.
I feel like Garrick's the more strategic mind of the two, if we're being honest, like generally when he's not under the influence of psychotropic drugs.
I was going to say, even though O'Brien got him in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, how quick can O'Brien learn the specific rules of this game? They don't even explain to us fully, the viewer.
It reminds me of when he was trying to learn. Was it Tango? And he just couldn't do it, or was it? No, it was the other one. And Bashir just had to take over for him. Was it? Okay. I was thinking it was Tango or Dabo.
It reminds me of the Gorn game.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of,
Gorn game.
I wonder if you could eat these too.
Why do Bashir and O'Brien hang out in the holodeck so much?
Oh, that's a good thought, Norman.
Trey
The
Possible.
next time we see Empok Nor 2 seasons later in season 7.
What's going on?
That really, really terrible episode. It's one of the only Gul Dukat episodes I absolutely cannot with.
There.
Has Chief O'Brien finally gotten past his Cardassian bigotry?
I think he's trying. I think he's trying really hard.
I don't think he has, but I think he's trying. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a pretty intense little bit at the end. Yeah, that kind of gives away the game.
I think he's come to terms with he's recognizes the fact that it's there, and he's taking efforts to keep it at bay, but it's not gone. He hasn't healed from it completely.
Yeah.
The fact that he's working on a Cardassian space station probably has a little to do with it, because he's running into problems with it like every day. So the hatred might be at a minimum, but it might also be bolstered a little bit by the technology he's dealing with.
Plus, Garrick is always kind of lightly poking at his soldiers' regret, and that doesn't help anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Garrick's really like making trouble in this episode.
Yeah, even though you see him like kind of generally making peace with it in the first episode where it comes up in TNG, the Wounded. It's not till this one that I finally feel like he feels like he's at peace with Cardassians and Garrick, and even after all of Garrick's bullshit, he's still like, nah, I'm gonna like try and take you out and do what I can to like not just go and kill some cardies.
I feel like he would have fun though if he did decide to do that. Just a thought.
Maybe that's what he's really doing on the holodeck.
Yeah, that's probably
Oh
a
my
job for
God.
Smiley.
They just don't film those for us. We only get to see spy adventures.
That's why Garrick was really needling him, because he was actually jealous of all the time that Bashir spends with O'Brien alone in the
Oh
holosuites.
yes.
Oh my god, that's gotta be it.
Oh man, that bit just killed me. Like that was just so on the nose and fun. That whole little thing, awesome.
Isn't it amazing how much mileage DS9 got out of its sets in the last few seasons, where they were able to reuse like all of these existing sets, like this is Empok Nor, and the set of Voyager is the Bellerophon, and the Defiant Bridge is the Valiant.
Well, hey man, they
And
don't
of course
have a
Mirror
budget.
DS9.
Like, gotta save cash where they can.
Just shoot it from the side. No one will notice.
Oh my word, the things they get away with in Shadow, like I really don't. I have no worries about that being a reused set, because the point of the episode is to bathe everyone in these shadows and amp the paranoia up within that. And there's a possibility you can go into like Muddy Town if you do that, but yeah, they keep it pretty well done here. Like everything has purposeful lighting, like that shot right there. Incredible stuff.
It's also great because here it works especially well to have it recognizably resemble DS9, because that adds that like level of uncanniness to it. Because of course DS9 is like our home in this series, right? Like it's familiar, it's safe. And so to go to something that looks like your home, but not your home, that's full of danger and booby traps and menace, like it's freaky.
Yeah, and it makes sense story-wise because it's Cardassian. It's Cardassian, and they're basically space fascists. And when you think fascists, you don't really think creativity. So if they have this one design for a space station that's going to work, they're going to make 9 or however many of them, and they're all going to be the same.
Good point.
Yeah, I've never thought about it or tried to like go into a Cardassian language and translate it. Does Empok? I wonder if Empok Nor, like, just the Nor mean like 9 in Cardassian, or if that one, the other one's Terok Nor. I guess maybe Terok and Empok are the numbers, and Nor is
that
the
makes
station.
sense.
Could be, yeah.
I never thought about what that actually means, but I bet you if you go into like whatever Cardassian language database, because there's like at least basics written out somewhere. Everybody's seen like Klingon somewhere, but
Yeah.
Cardassian, I've actually got a Cardassian font. I wonder what. Oh, but that just gives me the symbols. That wouldn't tell me whether it was like Empok Nor. Anyway.
Right.
Norman brings up a good point here about it basically being Night of the Red Shirts. Like the tension and paranoia of it. It kind of resembles Night of the Living Dead, because in the original movie, you don't really have a whole lot of zombie action. You have a lot of people crowding themselves in a house and yelling at each other about what needs to be done. And this episode does a really incredible job of bringing up a little bit of that vibe without breaking the reality of DS9.
Very true. Pardon.
So, is this Trek's best Halloween episode? And if not, what is? Last year we talked about Cat's Paw at this time. I think most of us, at least definitely for me, it is not just the worst Halloween episode, even though it's the only truly Halloween episode. But it's not good. It's one of the worst episodes of Trek for me. This is absolutely, I think, the most like Halloween-y type episode. There's a couple others that we, if we get to next year, we'll probably talk about another one like The Haunting of Deck 12. But I think this one is more of your traditional like horror slasher flick with phasers.
Yeah, exactly.
The Haunting of Deck 12 definitely is like probably the strongest competitor for me, just because it's got that like scary stories to tell in the dark kind of vibe with Neelix and the power outage and everything.
Mm-hmm. With a little twinge of unreliable narrator in there.
Yeah. It's a good time. But this one's definitely more like actually creepy.
It's definitely the best that I can come up with for DS9.
I do think Shuttle to Kenfori is a decent like Halloween episode 2 from Strange New World, but I'm still like mad enough about the most recent season that I'm like meh on it.
The only other one I considered was Enterprise's Impulse, but there's a lot less to chew on there, I guess. Joking.
Yeah, there might be more. I mean, that's just your traditional zombie flick, which can totally be a Halloween type thing. I think Haunting of Deck 12 at least has a little more in that it's a story for kids, and then that like becomes just like a campfire tale thing, which is more Halloween-y. But Impulse is probably scarier. Haunting of Deck 12 isn't actually even scary. Probably not even to kids, especially not bored kids.
Scary is way more preferable to spoopy, you know? Like, vibes are good, but scary, that's money.
I like a strong mix. I always overdo it on the horror content around October, and then I need to like make sure to take little wholesome Halloween content breaks because I love like immersing myself in Halloween. But when you watch like so much horror stuff back to back to back, you start to be like, I don't know, like starts weighing on you weirdly.
I think, I think like Paranorman kind of replaced Nightmare Before Christmas because I've seen it too much and it's just on like 2 times a year as well. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I've been watching the Bob's Burger
that's because you've been watching
episodes, or not Christmas, Halloween episodes, and they're always so good.
The one in the dumpster is amazing.
I've already started watching Christmas because I'm doing last Christmas. I like rushed between Thanksgiving and Christmas to put out a best 50 Christmas specials and movies episode, and I'm doing it again this year, but I'm starting way earlier because I've already done like all the content I really like and even the stuff I really hate. So like now I'm doing like it'll out of 50 it'll probably be 20 Hallmark style movies and things like that, and there's some I just can't even with.
There's a lot starring Trek alum, so just do all the ones with Trek alum.
That little cartoon you shared with us, unbearable. Like, I don't even mean it for the pun.
That one is number 50 on my list. Unless something displaces it, I still have like 38 or 37 Christmas things to watch, but that's probably...
I couldn't even finish it.
It's bad. I could finish that. There's a Hallmark movie I've already turned off, and I'm like, I'm just going to skip to the end, and I'm going to rank it like right above that really bad cartoon, because it at least has a plot, but I can't even with it for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I feel like in a Hallmark movie, you already know the whole movie in the first like 5 minutes, and then you can just kind of skip it.
Did somebody move from the hustle and bustle of the big city into a small town that loves Christmas?
Yes, the zombie episode. And not
is there that weird thing where...
Go ahead, Scott.
You get one of those Christmas movies where the parents are never horrified to find that somebody put random new presents under their tree on Christmas Day. They just accept it even though they don't believe in Santa Claus.
Well, and there's a guy that's marginally Santa that works around the corner. They're like, maybe he's a real Santa.
That literally just happened in the like random Nickelodeon thing that I had seen the other day that doesn't.
So, are you getting around to all of the other reindeer?
Oh,
like, am I gonna do Dasher?
Oh,
I don't know.
No, Olive. The other
Olive.
No, you mean like literally
the other
Olive?
reindeer.
Oh.
It's a-
Olive's not
the
a
reindeer.
reindeer.
She's
I
a
didn't do it
Little
last
dog
year,
who
so it's
wants to be a
entirely.
reindeer.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we
Sorry.
should probably get back to Halloween, even though, like, so far we've already gone through half the questions. And we are not that far into this thing. Does the
Is
music
Q Santa?
Yes, 100%. Santa. Well, it's more precise that Santa is a Q, not necessarily
Okay.
that John DeQ that we know is Santa.
Although that would be on brand for him.
And his elves are just like a random planet that he's enslaved on the other side of the Delta Quadrant. They just make toys for him, and and then he delivers them for to the rest of the galaxy. That's lore now, I decided.
It is.
So is the music perfect in this Empok Nor episode at setting the tone?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Yes, that's what
I
I
liked it.
said.
I'd almost certainly rank this somewhere in my top 50 scores of like the 900 episodes of Star Trek. It's very, very good at setting the mood.
The viewing I did before I came onto the stream, I mostly had to do it like listening to it, and that was perfectly fine. I kind of understood what everyone was doing. So I think that not only makes it a great like soundtrack, it just puts it in the top ranks of what good Star Trek is, and that it can tell a story almost entirely in audio as well.
As for me and Grandpa,
This is true.
we believe. So there's one. This is probably the only thing in the whole episode that really kind of bothered me. It's the worst answer, or maybe second worst answer to any like question ever asked in Star Trek. And it's when Solsoff, the security officer, is watching Pachetti, and Pachetti's like, "Do you have to point that thing at me?" Why is she and her answer is, "Well, the safety's on." Okay, from where he is down there, and as far as like safety, whether the safety is on or not, that should be a very standard piece of like security training. And she should literally, watching his back, be looking anywhere else on that promenade with that weapon. Why? Why is she doing this? Make this plausible for me.
She's afraid that he'll fall under the influence of the psychoactive drug and attack her. Had they discovered it at that point? Probably not. Reasons. Plot device?
I mean, is that
It's-
misogyny?
It's not
Oh,
scarier than the idea, Norman, that Bev's grandma may have left like ghost sex toys in her cottage.
Oh, why?
Other than that, no, this episode's way scarier.
Or just
Why?
everyone just enjoying reading about their grandma, just having that kind of fun.
Grandma.
God, I never
Damn
want
it.
to think about that episode ever again.
Maybe we did find another Halloween episode.
Now I'm pulling for Bev's grandma to get run over by a reindeer, and Bev too, for that matter.
Is that what killed her?
Wonder if she ever fooled around with the spirit of Christmas.
Ew.
She totally would have. Oh my god.
Are you
With her,
saying
like,
it was
theater
a
background?
white Christmas for her?
Yes,
dude,
a
too
white
much.
Scottish Christmas.
Damn it.
Yeah, exactly, Saint G. That last question. That's the
Yeah.
first. And even with like a phaser, it wouldn't be any different. First rule: don't point it at anyone unless you intend
Sure.
to pull the trigger.
Was she drinking?
Yeah.
They all.
I don't know. I guess they don't like teach trigger discipline in the Federation.
And like I could see if this was just random like cadet or random red shirt that works in engineering, but this is a security officer. She fails at her job harder
Okay,
than
maybe
anybody else.
maybe Eddington trained them all to be terrible on purpose so that he had nobody to confront him when he betrayed the uniform.
Oh, yeah, that is the best and probably only explanation. And I guess since I literally have no other questions, I'm going to kind of follow this up with, I said that this is the second worst answer to something, or second worst thing that a character ever does, as far as just like a Starfleet officer feeling completely dumb and incompetent to their job. And the other one is Picard in A Fistful of Datas. He offers to like, oh, maybe I should move some of these isolinear chips, when he's just like spitballing to Geordi, and Geordi's like, no, Captain, we've got this. And it just, granted, it's a Patrick Stewart directed episode, so he directed himself, unless it was the assistant director, to play that as dumb as humanly possible, dumber than I thought Picard had the possibility to ever dumb. Until I met the security officer.
He's not good at everything, including very basic things, I guess.
So close.
After he saw Wesley playing with isolinear chips back in season 1, he should have known better.
I can do that.
Clearly, I'm smarter than Wesley.
What does this do? Ouch.
What
does this do? Ouch.
Okay,
Excuse
I
me, I'm
literally
going
have
to get my saddle.
nothing else for this episode. I'm sad to say. I hope y'all have something, or we're gonna be like rolling for an episode here.
So,
was
I guess,
was it overkill for Garrick to like prop up all of the dead crewmen to taunt O'Brien with? Because that was kind of insane.
Yeah, that was a little extra.
That was a little impossible.
Like
quite he took the time to do that. Yeah.
I mean, Garrick was so goddamn high off of that stuff. Like, he was just straight rolling by that point. Like, that was him being creative, you know? I'm glad he expressed himself when he was in that state. It can be hard.
That's what he's wanted to do this whole time.
Tailoring as a creative outlet, you gotta rely on murder.
That's him as the DM being unnecessarily detailed in his campaign.
Given everything else we know about Deanna Troi, unfortunately, Norman, she doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. They wrote her character to be absolutely fucking stupid, and that's terrible for Marina Sirtis, but that's the cold truth of TNG. She didn't get anything to do till the very end.
Well, Norman has a good idea. Like, you know, how do we feel about Nog in this episode? Do we like their little mentor-mentee relationship?
Oh, that was
the one
cute.
he has?
Oh,
I think it's good.
Yes, we love Nog.
I like
Christmas time.
This was like a good reminder of like how naive cadets can be too, because he was really like not in the mood to do what needs to be done when things were escalating. And I think that was kind of like he was obviously very happy when Garrick did not end up dying with O'Brien's plan, but I think he has like a better understanding of like how dangerous situations in Starfleet can be. And how sometimes you don't really have a choice but to defend yourself with violence, like O'Brien was forced to.
And I like how they even play back on this later with Nog's arc, where he's learned not to trust Garrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does come up again when they get stranded on that planet with the Jem'Hadar.
I really like the bit where O'Brien says he's gonna like boot him from the ship if he calls him sir one more time.
Oh,
it's so ingrained in him
man.
to be polite that he says it, again without realizing it.
I always think about the good ending of I think it's Halo 2, where the Sarge is just like, I don't call me sir, I'm a working man.
Oh.
So do you, as an audience member watching the rest of DS9 after this, I know a lot of the characters kind of went back to just trusting Garrick, or at least just things kind of went back to business as normal. But did you, like, when you were watching the show, do you have feelings towards Garrett going forward because of these events, or are you just kind of like, man, it happened and you get over it?
Yeah, I mean, I think after the events of The Wire in season 2, it cements Garrick's character for you pretty well, that you like, you know that this is on par, and there's nothing surprising here, to be honest.
Yeah, he's always had a little bit more going on
Mm-hmm.
beneath the surface. And sometimes also
Yep.
at the surface.
I'm such a late baby to like really appreciating DS9 that I don't think I've ever even considered it, because I probably saw it out of order the first few times on reruns. So I just don't think it matters. I mean, if you treat it like a Halloween-y type horror episode and you recognize that things happen that were out of people's control, then I guess you can tolerate it. I mean, it's an episode of TV. We can have a little bit of suspension of disbelief.
Oh, we have a lot of like under the influence episodes where people act out of character due to like a virus or mind control or like alien influence, blah blah blah. So that was pretty standard. This time it's a psychotropic drug used to specifically make Cardassians more violent and xenophobic. Like, sure, very Star Trek.
More of that.
I like that they can tell that it specifically heightens the user's xenophobic tendencies. Like, I don't know if there are many drugs that are classified as saying like they heighten xenophobia or something. Like maybe a user has tendencies like that, and then they say that it will heighten that user's tendencies, but they don't actually say for the general public, this is going to make you more xenophobic, this is going to make you more racist, or anything like that.
I think that's a
Warning,
byproduct
may
of
cause racism.
Cardassians. Like they're trained through their entire life to be xenophobic.
Well,
that's
that's part of it.
It's probably heightening things that have already been beaten into them.
He did
for
say
their
like
entire
our
lives.
people's tendency for xenophobia gets heightened by it or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think
Mr.
it's like
Captain,
genetic xenophobia.
I'm going to answer, I'm going to go off the map and say C. Picard in Starship Mine is the best Die Hard on Starship. But out of those two, that's tough. I really like watching Janeway like just go down to the like tank top and action Janeway.
Mm-hmm.
Iconography.
I mean, this episode is 1,000
like
times better as an episode, but man, Janeway might feel more badass, to be honest.
In the episode where Janeway's crew is getting like experimented on, I think is like one of the peak action Janeway episodes. Like she gets pissed, and like I would not want to be on the other end of like an angry Janeway. Like she will fuck you up. She will bring you to the brink. She does not care. Except for about her crew.
Well, she was ready to kill her crew. She just flew them into a sun or whatever.
I mean, better blow them up in a sun than have them slowly tortured by aliens. Fair enough.
That's what I'm coming to as kind of a problem. I'm at Janeway in my best 5, worst 5. Janeway in Starship Captain Decision series. Janeway oscillates between extreme with the Prime Directive and always for her crew to I will sacrifice them at all costs and just to say fuck you to erase the Delta Quadrant. She is like, she just flips wildly more than any of the other captains.
She knows what she's doing. She is the queen of the bluff.
I'll get my crew home or kill them all myself. Either way.
That's
Either
the
way,
best
I'm
way
in
you could
charge,
summarize
damn it.
You'll kill us all or die trying.
As long as it's on me, we're good.
Yeah, I literally have nothing else. So if nobody else
What,
has anything about this, then we can do an out of 10.
Well, I kind of wanted to ask before we get out of here, since this is
Do it.
our Halloween episode, what specific movies do you think this recalls in tone and execution? I mean, we already talked about Night of the Living Dead. I think The Thing is also a little bit of it of the equation. Of course, Alien on a certain level, though we don't have the actual full promise of a like freaky alien creature.
I think we get a little
Alien
sprinkling of like Event Horizon in here in terms of like the
Oh,
sabotage is coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one. And that's not too far off from the release of that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I
Well,
was gonna
they were
say
just
that
using
would've
the
been just
generic-
a few years before.
A lot of the tropes, like just putting them in the future, like the car not being able to start is the runabout being, jettisoned away and things.
The
So it's
phone
like,
lines
That's
have been
not
cut.
right.
yeah,
Pawns are down.
All lines
Oh, man,
are down.
the let's
the
split
bit-
up.
Little Scooby
Yes,
Doo in there.
very
bit about-
Scooby-Doo inspired for sure.
Yeah,
Let's split
The
up,
bit
gang.
about Brian just giving up on trying to communicate is so great. Like 3 times. Like he finally realizes what a stupid plot point he's been enacting out.
The good guy's actually the villain the whole time?
Shocker.
Well, eventually.
Garrick makes a really incredible villain throughout this whole thing. Like, and you can tell when like he's really at his limit of just being insane. Like the look on his face, like the gaunt eyes that he gives the whole time. Like he really bulges his eyes out for every performance. Very satisfying.
do you
Maybe
think
he's
he actually
inspired by
knew
Gowron.
when he first got the goop on him? Do you think he actually knew that he was infected and he just wanted to go with it?
No, because I think he's always just one tick away from being absolutely homicidal. So his
Right.
I'm sure other people there would have been levels of like, okay, you're feeling this. And Garrick, it just switched like his implant in his head that Bashir had to turn off. He only has 2 settings.
Chill
What
Taylor,
else?
murderer.
Heck, technically, that's practically cribbing from Toy Story. Like when they find out that Buzz Lightyear has a play mode and a demo mode.
I do think that the comment that Garrick would appreciate Janeway is right. That's on the money. I think they would be friends. I think she'd like really appreciate his like oddball personality, and he would enjoy her grit and mayhem.
I just had a thought. Does O'Brien in this episode remind you a little bit of Snake Plissken on a certain level, like the way he's supposed to function in the story almost? I don't know. Maybe that's just a wild hair.
I
I'm
don't
getting
know
up
who
my
that
ass.
is.
Me neither.
The main character from Escape from New York,
Escape from
Oh,
New
okay.
York.
John
I've never seen it.
Carpenter's. Oh,
And Escape
okay.
from
I
LA
haven't
was the
seen it.
only one I actually saw.
Okay, that's not as much of a cultural touchstone anymore as I thought it was. Never mind.
But he had a mullet. Brian didn't have a mullet.
Oh, he had that mullet.
True.
But I did
like
like
you could
that
rock
he
a
used an
mullet.
engineering skill. Like that was a good through line of I'm not a soldier, I'm an engineer, and then I used engineering. Haha.
Oh yeah, that bit was really solid. I did like that. It was a good little climax.
Okay. Seems like we're going silent on this one.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
mean-
do our out of 10s. I mean, I guess I thought this was going to be, I guess there really isn't that much to chew on here. I mean, it is a pretty standard, like, horror movie troped out thing, and it's pretty good, especially for Star Trek. When they wade into certain genres, sometimes westerns don't always work. Sometimes the horror stuff doesn't really work, but in this one, it really hits. I'm going to give it, I think, a 7.75. I don't think it quite deserves an 8, but it is one of my more favorite episodes of Star Trek. And definitely my favorite Halloween episode, for sure.
What's going on?
I can do the score if you want. If you just want to give your
No, it's fine. It just didn't have the number lock on my keyboard for some reason. Anyway, yeah, I think about the same. Because you see a lot of horror and sci-fi movie tropes in here, but they use them well. The music really helps to set the scene. Always loved O'Brien as a character. Love Garrick as a character even more, especially when you consider the fact that he's somewhat iconic and made just so few appearances over the run of the show. I think a total of like less than 10% of the total episodes, and he goes all out here, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, maybe just a smidge lower and say 7.5.
Okay. I think I'm going to give it a flat 8 because I'm a sucker for well executed horror tropes. This reminds me of a bunch of things I like, and I think it has its own identity as a Star Trek series on a certain level added in with that. So that's just an all around winner for me. I mean, it has great little character moments between everyone too. I mean, it just feels cozy. Like there's just a ring around it that's like fun to take in and really satisfying on an interpersonal level. It doesn't ask some of the bigger questions that we want out of Trek, but I also don't think that hinders your enjoyment of it. I think it more than deserves its 8.
I will also give it a 7.5. I think I overall really like this episode. I like a good horror trope, and as you've all said, I think they're used well, and they do make it their own with the creepy setting and the like uncanniness of it. Garrick is so much fun in this episode, and I think it's one of those ones where you can tell that everyone's kind of having a blast with their little part to play. Yeah, it's not like a super deep episode of Trek, but they don't all have to be. I think, episodes like these kind of space out the like more really like emotionally impactful or like philosophical episodes. And sometimes you just want to watch them run around a space station under the influence of drugs. And I think it does that well.
So I think that this episode, being part of DS9, and especially like this era of DS9 when everything was kind of starting to fire exceptionally well, you were getting a lot of great episodes. This did some of the things that Deep Space Nine does well outside of its era. It did callbacks and connections to things that didn't need to really be touched upon. We get like a callback to some of Garrick's history. We get callbacks to O'Brien's history. We get a setup for Nog's evolution from naive cadet to how he would eventually become. So there's a lot of elements that are either playing on or setting up other elements of the show, which if this had actually been just a standalone episode in another Trek series, wouldn't necessarily have those connective pieces of tissue, which again, this is Deep Space Nine. They always did that sort of thing. So, but I do think that helps elevate it and keep it out of just a one-time episode with characters you don't actually know, and none of this will actually have influence later. So I think that elevates it a little more than just being a run-of-the-mill thing. But reusing the sets that are there in the way they did was one of the better uses of reusing Deep Space Nine. A lot of the times they reused it, it was just, in somebody's mind. I think they did that at least 3 times. They're like, oh, my brain is just Deep Space Nine. Okay. This worked well. Just the little shooting everything askew, the shadows, seeing our characters act not in their normal comfy Federation way, but not in the way that they were during the war. I just thought this was a great, I guess, side adventure during one of the greatest times of the show. And it really probably did the horror haunted house feeling better than any other Trek episode's been able to do so far. And I don't even know if that was the intention they were trying to do here. I think they were just trying to do a good episode, and they had good characters to tell it. So I'll give it probably 7.5 as well.
Nice. We have finished this pretty quickly. We've got another 20 minutes, so let's do a roll for episode. And that will give me a chance to stand all the way up and show off my fabulous
Ooh.
dress.
Woo!
Please roll Empok Nor. Please roll Empok Nor.
Hold on, let me get the average on this.
Yeah, until the headphones get stuck in the wig. That's really cool.
Oh no.
We're back.
Done here.
Oh no. Oh, now you're Luxana Troy in the episode where Odo glooped on her.
Oh my god!
I like this one better, honestly.
All right, time to pull out the big guns.
Hey, you
And
don't
I
want to be
don't
on a
want
registry.
these.
You better get rid of those big guns.
We're ready for a Betazoid wedding right here.
Oh yeah, walks on in the elevator with Odo.
Does anybody else have dice handy? I can roll this whole thing.
I have 6-sided die. Right
You want it
here.
to be handy?
All right, well, it starts with a 12, so let's see. 5. What are we doing? Voy. Ooh. I hope we get the haunting of
Voy.
deck 12.
We'll probably get Flodder.
All right, what are the rules for Voy?
7 seasons, you get
7
1
seasons.
D8.
Roll a d8.
I got one.
You got. All right, do it. What do you got?
What is that? Season 1.
Oh,
Wait.
oh boy. Okay,
Oh, this is a 10D, but whatever.
good enough. Season
Season
1.
one.
Roll a
Gonna
d10
do a-
plus a d6. I
Yeah.
got it. That is episode 14, which I think is the next to last. What do we got? Who are you?
Doesn't help you don't know which one it is.
No, I'm looking it up right now. Give me just a
Thank
second.
goodness.
Jetrel.
Oh,
Yep. Yep, that's Jetrel.
Nice.
So we are gonna do a meaty one.
All right. Last thing first, because this should be a pretty deep question to answer. Was Jetrel justified in what he was trying to do, bringing back the victims of Rhinax?
I think he was well intentioned, but I think it was one of those things that was always impossible and misguided. He was trying to undo something that is impossible to undo. In a way, I think that it's just one of those things that it's one of those things that he was having a lot of trouble living with. And so rather than dealing with that, he sort of directed that into this kind of fanciful idea that he could actually restore these people to life. And even if he could do that, everyone involved would be extremely traumatized. Everyone's moved on with their lives. People have moved on with their lives, and having all of these people suddenly come back from the dead would be just insanely disruptive and confusing. And ultimately, yes, good that they're not dead, but I think the actual impact of that would have insane ripple effects. So I think it's, in fact, arguably a good thing that he couldn't, and, was always just ill-conceived, but well-meaning.
Yeah, I mean, Neelix was there, and his feelings on Jetrel changed over the course of the episode, but I'm pretty sure at the end, even he was against this idea because he knew better.
Yes,
I think I'm
Mr.
right.
Captain. That's what I was thinking. They didn't really explore the impact very much in Marvel, but when they brought the people back after they were dead for 5 years or dusted for 5 years, that would be such a first of all, the planet they were on, or the moon, isn't livable anymore. Nope. So you'd have to find a place for these people to go. Their families have moved on. All the stuff, you probably don't have the resources for them. So you're just going to cause as much trouble as you originally caused again. And I'm sure people would end up, dying. They're probably it's just not. He's only thinking of the emotional impact and trying to calm his own soul, basically.
Yeah.
Through an attempt of doing something that's not possible, but he doesn't want to live with the fact that it's not possible.
Yeah. really ultimately very cruel thing to involve Neelix in at all. You know, like getting his hopes up and then like kind of forcing him to be the one to like put a stop to it. If I remember, it's been a while since I've seen this one, but it just, man, it's kind of like this was before Neelix really got into his like lovable uncle era, but I think this was one of the first episodes where I really like had intense empathy for Neelix and realized what a like complex character he actually is.
Mm-hmm. It was the first time
Yep.
I found out he wasn't just the goofy, bumbling weirdo. He was
Ooh,
like
Dustin
using
is
that.
even more fabulous now.
Ooh,
Yeah, this wig doesn't need to be like
Voila.
fanned back out. That one's like once it comes off, it has to be brushed.
I need to cut out a little early. I gotta go help my dad with something. It was nice talking to you.
Bye, friend.
Had a great time
Happy
tonight, everybody.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
Happy
buddy.
Halloween.
He's
Yep,
gonna sneak
Halloween.
off and just pick us up one by one. He's gonna die randomly.
And you're
He's
gonna
under
know
the
it was Rob.
influence. He's coming for us.
Well, statistically, he was the one most likely to get it first anyway. Funny guy goes first.
But yeah, and even the way he like forced his way onto the ship was questionably dubious, telling Neelix he was dying.
Oh yeah,
Just
I
to-
forgot about that. That was diabolical. Oh, you're not dying, actually. I am. Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
I'm just trying to like undo this horrible traumatizing thing I did to you. I definitely can't though, but thank you for letting me traumatize you some more.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reverse Uno genocide real quick, but you'll be fine.
That was nuts. Yeah.
What did you think of this being like the first time you get to see some of Neelix's backstory and feel his pain,
Sure.
and then he has those like weird dreams, like he sees everybody but without their face, like here.
The like vision he gets of Palaxia really traumatized me as a kid. I remember being like freaked out. Actually, this whole episode was really upsetting to me when I was little, just like the concept of it. And of course it's like an allegory for the atomic bomb. But it just, whoa.
Yeah, it was very very sharp
kinda hits
departure
even
from what
harder
we'd come to
because-
expect.
Yeah. Neelix telling Jetrel about Palaxia, like I get chills every time he gives that monologue. It is so upsetting.
There's only a handful of times they actually went to this well with Neelix, and I think that's where he was the most effective in the show. I guess
think
that, and then Naomi's godfather or whatever. But
Yeah. But I think it was a really good juxtaposition to what an, you know, like cheerful, sort of happy-go-lucky character he presents, where he's, you know, he's portrayed sort of as this like bumbling comic relief character, and then once in a while we're reminded that he's someone who's went through just unimaginable pain and trauma, like just unbelievable, and he somehow just finds a way to carry on. And like this episode really was kind of like a turning point for kind of liking Neelix more for me, for sure, because it sort of like puts the like empathy and kindness with which he tends to approach people into such a new light. Like he's, in spite of everything, he's just such a warm, like loving person, you know, when he's not being like a weird, jealous, pervy creep. I'm so glad they like stopped that arc for him. That sucked.
Scott, did you have
I
something?
think it's kind of amazing the way he's. Yeah, it's kind of amazing the way he sticks with it, even a few seasons later in the episode where he literally dies and is brought back to life, and then realizes, wait a minute, I didn't see my people's version of heaven. I didn't see anything. I was just dead, and just deep existential crisis.
Yeah.
He's gonna be pulled out of, and then he's okay.
But I really like that, because up until this point, you can kind of retroactively look at the entire first part of his journey as he was trying to run away from all of this by going on Voyager. He didn't think he would ever have to confront not only the issues he dealt with, but the fact that he lied about being one of the people that was trying to, you know, help. He was actually running away from the war, and he was
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he was trying to hide his own guilt while at the same time he really probably shouldn't have felt guilty about that. It was not a good thing to begin with, but just all of these things he thought he was getting away from by coming to Voyager are now just smack dab in his lap.
Still almost destroyed the ship with cheese, though. He did.
Twice.
I saw that one recently.
Such a menace. But yeah, when you get the only time Neelix really is good is in the episodes where you dig into his
Like we're in the
backstory,
talking about
and
the first
it's
season. We're in the
tragic.
first season.
Yeah, this is one of the. I wish Vanessa had been able to join us. She wasn't feeling very well tonight. I hope she gets better. But I know she actually does not like this episode. I wouldn't say this is like one of my favorites or anything, but especially for Neelix's backstory, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the overall like impact, I feel like Jetrel really does get off like way too easy. And I think there are some like questionable decisions in how they portray him, but overall, I do think it's a like pretty impactful episode. Definitely one you only watch if like you're in the mood to cry a little bit, though.
Yeah, if the Neelix stuff doesn't get you, the stuff about everybody that died on Rhinax will.
Yeah.
Would it have been ethical for them to actually bring these survivors, I guess at that point, back the way they are after so many years?
That's so complicated. On
Yeah,
one hand, I feel like yes, like in terms of it's good for people to not be dead, but at the same time, I think it's just so unnatural and just creates such a just bizarre situation in terms of like their spouses have moved on, their children have grown up, like most of the people they knew, or a lot of them have like probably died of things by now, like their whole world is kind of like not as they left it. So I don't know, I feel like it would be horribly like traumatizing for everyone if they did it, but I think also like if they had the technology and the like survivors and like family members of the victims knew that they had it and didn't bring them back, I think they would still be upset. So it's definitely like one of those things where like I could see an ethical argument either way, but practically I think it's a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm. And it changes too, like dependent, like is it ethical to even try to create this research to do it is different from it's successful, you show up and it's like, oh, they're here, you just have to hit a button to make them alive again. Like if they're what do you do at that point? Like if they're
That's
already
the case,
there
what
and
do
it's just
you
you saying yes or no for them existing or not, like how do you
Also,
make
like
that decision?
if that technology became widespread, imagine how much less seriously people would take like genocidal attacks and things, because you're like, well, I can just re-exist them, after we win the war, you see. And I think that would have like, that would be crazy.
That'd be a great follow-up to, was it Let This Be Your Last Battlefield? Is that the one where they were like just temporary, like killing people based on like the computer simulation, or was that
No, that was a
No,
Taste
that's
of
a Taste of
Armageddon.
Armageddon.
yeah, but like if they were doing that, but they were actually like, but at the end of the war we'll just bring them all back,
Yeah, that'd
sort
be
of a thing.
crazy.
Well, that's an interesting way to practice war. Okay.
You
If you
respawn
win, you get
at a
to
set
bring
time.
your.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just a video
That's a
game.
good way to think about it.
Or that'd be like the planet where Kai Opaka died. Like they just keep coming back to life.
Yeah. Nanites.
Just keep respawning people and keep fighting.
I'm still disappointed to this day that they never revisited that within the show. I know there was at least one book about it, but that would have been so easy. Like I think there would have been a great episode there to take Kai Wynn to that planet, and then like she gets a talking to by Opaka, and then she's not such an unsufferable C word for the rest of the series.
Oh my god.
But then that wouldn't be so good for the end. But I mean, true.
But then she might not have hooked up with Ducat. So
Right?
I could deal with not ever having seen that.
Yeah, being that this is like an impromptu episode, I don't have a lot because I mean, this one it's some deep emotions for Neelix and some ethics that are really hard to pin down. I don't know the answer to whether you should be bringing back people that died like 15. I don't even remember how long it had been. Was it
Yeah.
10 or 15, 20 years? Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
That's too tough for this group. I got nothing.
We're not deep enough for that.
No.
I mean, if you had that technology, like that would just change the entire everything. Like
Yeah.
every single situation for the rest of Star Trek, if they were able to bring that home with them, would just be whatever.
Well, just reads the problem solved.
And then we won't get into all the like fountain of youth things that we found within Trek that could keep people alive, but we're not going to talk about them. Like the Tribble in the new fucking movies that brings Kirk back with Khan's blood, or how they found that Pulaski, all they need is their damn trace pattern and like a hair, and we can bring her back from her last save.
Yeah, I saw someone just say that, like, what? How come immediately after Pike's disaster they just didn't use his 10 minutes prior transporter pattern? Like, there you go, you're good. Just put him in a chair that barely works.
I mean, that's somewhat answered in, like you can see in DS9 in Our Man Bashir, because the patterns to store them for any length of time. I don't know why it would be any different than getting it all immediately, but something about needing so much memory that it takes up like the entire memory of a big space station.
Plot device, Mr. O'Brien.
So,
but that was for the mines, though. Oh no, you're right. The mines were the computer. The bodies were the holodeck. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot that needs to be stored all along.
But you can have you could just have their body patterns like in the holodeck generally, though. Like just at any given time, you can make a sexy, Troy hologram for
I am the goddess of empathy.
Maybe they only store the sexy transporter patterns. Like they're not storing Morn's transporter pattern, but like the sexy ones. There you go.
That's important in Star Trek. Gene would approve. Gene would approve.
Got to be a Starfleet 10 or higher.
Oh my god!
A Starfleet 10.
I hear that's an Orion 6.
That is correct.
It's an Angel 1.
Oh! So witty here tonight. We are ever so witty. Yeah, the other thing I'm going to say about this episode is that I like, it's got a good use of Sandrians early on. I can't remember, is this the first episode of Sandrians?
When was Twisted?
I'm fully not sure. But I do remember Felix's like nightmare pool sequence, and that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I love him just like going through the entire table like
you missed your turn.
I just remember that this guy, the like pool shark guy, was only in a couple of episodes.
He's great though. We love him.
Yeah, he pops up in a lot of things. He's probably too busy.
I just love that Tom says he based this on like a place he actually went. So that meant there was a guy that was dripped out like that at Sandrine's in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Maybe he was a Lanthanite. He's just continually dressed like that for hundreds of years.
That is a great headcanon. I am obsessed. That's
right.
So good.
Once you hit Starfleet 10, you turn into a catfish.
Nice. Real nice, Mr. Captain. Thought. We can only be 9.5s.
Unless you're
Yes,
a
only the
salamander.
salamanders are the
We can only
10s.
go 9.97.
High
For a limited
amphibious beauty
time.
standards.
You don't want to overheat.
All right. Well, we've been
What's
here
TOS?
an hour. Does anybody have any final thoughts on this second episode we talked about after Empok, Nor?
Not too shabby.
Good one. Like, do we think it compares to Duet?
Oh yeah, I was kind of thinking about that one at the same time. I do kind of feel like what's his face also gets off a little too easy in Duet, but like
Maritza?
Kira is like peak there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
They're
that
both first season
I'm that
episodes, though,
odd
right?
person that doesn't really like Duet. But that being said, like even I think Duet's like just above mid, and this is worse than that. Because it's like the only part that's really good is Neelix's stuff, and for that I can only like end up giving about 4 points, and I'll give it about another half point for charm. In the grand scheme of 900 episodes of Star Trek, I'm only at about a 4.5 on this one. Like, it's fine. It's lower middle of the road as a complete thought. But it is really good look at the beginning. It's our first really good look at Neelix as more than just a weird sex pervert.
Oh, I'm so
Fair.
glad they pivoted on
Sorry,
him.
were we at a 10 again?
Yes, out of 10.
Oh, sick.
I'll get mine.
Okay.
Go ahead, Scott. You go ahead. Oh, you got it. Cool.
Oh, is that not it?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. No, it is a good episode with the questions that it raises and a really good look into Neelix's backstory. But as we said, I'm probably, unless I'm going to do like another full Voy rewatch, probably I might never watch this episode again, despite how good it is. I don't know if I would ever have a good reason to. And that brings it down, but not as far as Dustin. So I'm going to say 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, this episode does have a decent amount going for it in terms of like a great performance from Ethan Phillips, and as we've talked about, like expanding Neelix into more of a character and less of a caricature. But beyond that, I think a lot of the philosophy of this is kind of like wiggly and weird. The ethics don't have a really clear or good answer, and I think Jetrel kind of gets off too easy, and it sort of undercuts like the weight of the fact that like it's a genocide happened. But I really love how this did like expand Neelix's character and give him a lot more like depth going forward, and makes it a lot more interesting in terms of still having that like really bright and cheerful and like welcoming and warm persona. So I think I'll give this like a 6.75. Like, it's not a great overall episode, but it does really do some work in rehabilitating Neelix in a way that's like very moving. Also, the special effects makeup is like Palaxia looks terrifying.
Speaking of that, there's this thing going around recently online about this episode where it's like Palaxia from Talaxia. Okay. just making up your sister's name there. But yeah, so this episode is not one I normally think about when I'm just thinking about Voyager like in a vacuum, but when I'm thinking about Neelix, this is one of probably 3 or 4 episodes that actually really digs into who he is behind the facade. And it actually, there's a couple little arcs to this. The one where he loses his lung, the one where, this happens, the one later on when he dies and the magic nanoprobes bring him back. And then maybe even Homestead at the end. There's like a little Neelix growth arc that you feel like when they go to that well, they can actually like tell a good story about this character who's normally supposed to be the comic relief or the whatever job they need to throw him into that week, the morale officer, the chef, whatever. It's like this is the first time we really get to see a good look into him besides the creepy guy he was in the beginning. So for that merit, it definitely is worth a watch. Even though the Jetrel stuff is a little wibbly wobbly with his science and the ethics of what he's doing, there's a lot to think about there. And even if they don't execute it in a way that's maybe the most satisfying as far as, what happens or the resolution, there's a lot of possibility there. There's things you could think about as far as, what this is being based on in the real world, or what would happen, like we just did. What would happen if you had this ability or this technology? You could just snap your fingers and bring someone back from the dead, a la Q or something. What would that mean for you as a person? What would that mean for the people you're bringing back? All of those things are good thought experiments, even if the show didn't really tackle them. And for a first season episode of Voyager, this is, they're still trying to figure out what they're doing. And I think it's a pretty good effort, and probably about a 6.25.
All right, not too far apart. I imagine this is going to even just over a 5. Which is pretty... seems about where it belongs between all of us. While we wait for Scott, I don't know what we're doing next week, but from now till the end of the year, each one of us in the group is going to pick an episode of Star Trek that we've never talked about on this show before. Might be our least favorite episode, it might be our favorite episode, it might be something we just think will have more to talk about than Empok Nor, so that we don't end up in these roll for episodes. But I would like to thank Scott for coming up with the roll for episode format, so that we have these randomly to fill in some content. Does anybody here want to volunteer to do their project starting next week?
I still have to think of one.
I mean, I could do it if we can't come up with something. But...
yeah, I mean, I've got one that I will start, but if I do one,
I've
and
got
then,
one.
like,
Just
people aren't ready,
don't know how slow I'm gonna be
that's
running.
all. Yeah, it's really up to you guys. We'll figure something out. We all have some ideas that'll coalesce here.
Empok Nor is what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking lobster tail myself.
Nar.
But
I
I don't know
don't think
how-
we got enough mileage out of them tails
God.
of them lobsters. No, sir.
Empok
No,
Nor.
okay.
Well,
I think we
we'll
went as
figure
far as we
that
needed
out.
to.
I'd like to thank Scott and Robbie and Josh and Ren for joining me on for this Halloween special, and for all of you that have tuned in. So until we see you again, live long and prosper.